Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to episode 3 in my Satisfactory Let's Play for Update 6 and beyond. Now in the last episode we fully completed Tier 1's milestones and one of Tier 2's milestones, which was obstacle clearing. That's right, we got our very own chainsaw so we can get rid of some of that nasty vegetation that's been cropping up, blocking or impeding our beautiful factory's expansion. Now in the name of expansion, I've moved our entire power facility just further out to the east, clearing the area around the bottom of this lookout tower here, which is where we're going to expand, because today the plan is to begin the facility that will maintain, well, what would I call it? Kind of a refinement facility. So we have our smelters, we have our miners all up and running, looking good, but then we've got a bunch of constructors just here on the edge that were kind of, sort of temporarily built to just make some things to get us to the next milestone. We're there now, so we're going to clear out all of this area and build a multi-tiered, multi-leveled factory to handle all of the iron ingots that we're processing from the smelters. As you can see by the smokestacks, we're only actually using 3 of them right now. So, let's get cracking. We've got a lot of work to do. A lot of big build. And I've kind of got a vague idea of what I want to do. But it's not fully mapped out or anything, so there might be a little bit of guesswork. Now, also in between episodes, I've been running around, grabbing as much fuel as I can. So that power facility should be good to go for quite a while. But in order to advance to the next milestone, I think I just need to grab some cables here, which we saved up at the end of the last episode. And of course, time has been ticking behind the scenes. Maybe about 10 or 15 minutes have gone by since the previous episode. So we've just accumulated a bunch more resources. And when we're dismantling buildings, we get what's in them anyway. So I think we've got what we need now to get to the next phase. Now, it's always a classic push and pull between whether or not to build too far ahead. Yeah, there we go. Actually, just before I click that, essentially, something that I want to do is, when we're building a multi-tiered factory, what's nice to have is the awesome shop, right? The awesome shop is gated behind a different tier, actually. Logistics, is it? No, resource sink bonus program, which we could actually get right now. But I wouldn't really have enough resources to sink, pardon the pun, into the thing to actually get us the tickets needed to buy what we need. So in the awesome shop, I want to get things like the walls that have conveyor holes. I want to get the floors that have conveyor holes and can let us use the elevators and stuff. Because it just frees up a lot of it gives you a lot of logistical freedom, basically. But it's going to be a little while before we do that. It might be a couple episodes. Even if I get the building, it'll take a while to recycle goods in order to generate the tickets. That's something that'll just have to happen in the background. So before that happens, we might as well just get building with what we have in front of us, let things go smoother, and then when we unlock all that stuff, then we'll revamp the factory, as it were. Alright, so let's go. Part assembly. So that's going to give us the assembler, which allows us to merge 2 things and get 1 thing out of it. So instead of just the straight up 1-to-1, now it's 2-to-1. We also get copper sheets, which is used for piping, rotors, and modular frames, which is used for more advanced crafting, and then smart plating, which will be used for the space elevator. So we have everything we need, so let's just dump it all in there. Ah, we're a tiny bit short on screws. That's alright, we've got some screws just over here. There we go. Nice. Alright, launch the pod. Now, with these milestones...
Milestone reached. More complex assembly of parts can now be automated. Project assembly parts can now be constructed and sent up via the space elevator. Note, project parts are too complex to produce by hand.
Yeah, so we can't craft things like smart plating or whatever. We have to build it in machines. And my god, I can't imagine actually even wanting to try and craft that stuff anyway. Because it's so complex and it would take obviously a very long time. Anyway, with each milestone now, the time is increasing between them. So we've got 6 minutes on a cooldown before we can do the next milestone. But it's alright because we've got a lot of stuff that we want to get building. So let's just start dismantling everything here. I also forgot to mention that we have our map. We unlocked it in the last episode and I forgot to look at it. So we can take a quick look at that in a minute. It's a brand new feature for Update 6. So it's worth checking out. Or, well, kind of. It's been revamped in quite a big way. So this is what we have so far. This is what I've discovered. We're at the very southern tip of the map. So this is like the ocean or the out of bounds, I guess. This is the edge of the map here. And yeah, it's actually a really, really huge map that goes all the way up north. We're at the very southern part. I just know that because that's where the grassy plains spawn is. And we can add in different things here, search for different things, leave markers and stickers on our map as reference points. So we'll do that and add new markers to remember where different things are. I could add the power generation, which I think is actually over here. There it is right there, and we're aiming that way. Yeah, so it's just over there. Obviously, we have our north is facing this way. So yeah, loads to uncover and discover in this map. I just ran over that way to kind of go get some wood and things like that to keep our fuel going for quite a while. I think we should be good for fuel for the rest of the episode at least, as we're making biofuel as well. Alright, so let's get cracking. We'll just jump up here and dismantle everything we don't need. And like I said, I've got a rough idea of what I want to get going, at least the beginning part, but I haven't really gone too far to see if this is going to last a very long time. Alright, just to dismantle all of that, get rid of our splitters, and get rid of the power here as well, actually. It's going to be changed in a moment. Okay, almost everything. Now, I might actually just turn off some of these smelters and things, because otherwise they're just going to start feeding out loads of crap all the time. Alright, so blank canvas, sort of, again. Now what we need to do is get building. So I noticed that there's actually a rock out here that we need to build over that rock. So the way we're going to do that is just build one thing here, and we'll build another level up above it, and then just dismantle the one below, and use this as our new foundation. So it's a bit offset, but it's kind of two facilities, so I'm sort of okay with it. So let's just use the zoop, go all the way out. We need to get rid of the thing we're on. Alright, smooth. And yeah, we just need to extend this out quite a bit. Now this is going to have to be built up as multiple floors. At least that's the plan. Alright, cool. We're foundationed out of our minds. Nice big blank canvas for us to work with. Okay. Now, in future as well, again, it's all this stuff is locked behind copious amounts of progression, but we'll be able to paint the floors and try to make the place look kind of nice. At least that's my hope. I mean, it's only so nice you can never make it look, but I think we could do a pretty good job. There's all sorts of road signs or floor signs that you can put on at different types of walls, glass, windows, etc. I think there's even lights now in the game, so that should be fun to mess around with. Now, I would have just cut off power there a little bit, so we'll just have to hook that back up real quick, and then we can continue building. So let's just keep the theme going. Add that there, add that here, add that one here. Okay. Alright, the concrete is continuing. Speaking of, are we good for everything we have? I think we're pretty good. So yeah, I'm just going to turn off the mining drills for now. I feel like that graphic is wrong sometimes. It looks like it's toggled off already, right? Yeah. A little bug with it, I guess. Alright, well they're off now anyway, so we'll let everything filter in, burn through everything we've got, and then we'll use the ingots for the next tier of stuff that we need up here. So, my plan is basically that we need... Here's the assembler, by the way. It's going to require having rotors already and having lots of plates. So I took the liberty to save up a bunch of plates in between episodes also, because we were crafting that a lot in the last episode. So, let's start. A constructor. So I'm basically going to need a constructor. I guess I'll move in one grid block over. Start here. One there. So we need 4 of these, I think. And this is for rods. So rods is going to be my bottom floor. At least at first. And I think it's 2 smelters to 1... what is it? No, yeah, it's 2 smelters for all 4, I think? Let me just check. I'm losing my mind. I think so, yeah. Because these produce at 30 and these consume at 15. So each smelter has 2. Yeah, I don't know why that was so complicated to say. Alright, so rods, there it is. We'll just select rods for all of these. Whoops. Our ship is landing. Pod has returned on time. Alright, cool. Now, the good thing is, these 2 produce at 30 per second, or per minute. So we can actually merge these into one. So we could go logistics, merger, about there. Alright, so those are going to both merge into this one. And this is going to then come up into this area. Could have moved it over there, I suppose. Would it look better? It might look better. I kind of like it being on the foundation, though. And we could always extend the foundation this way. Probably would have to, actually, considering the way the rock is. Anyways, something that always bothers me, basically, what I'm thinking is the walls here. If you build walls along this edge, they clip with the machine. But the machines are like perfectly spaced so that they take up a grid slot each. So I guess you'd have to have the walls come out even further and build it up something like that. Anyway, it's fine. We're not going to see it really anyway, so it's okay. Okay, anyways. So that's good. So we're merging into one. This needs to then come out. We could just turn it and merge it, bring it up here. And we're going to need copious amounts of splitters. So this is our splitter. That's our splitter there. So start somewhere like here. Sorry, that was wrong. This needs to turn now. Yeah. Alright. So basically, actually we don't need the splitter on the end. That's the last one. So basically, these two, that should be enough iron that can go into here. So do I mind curving that? I mean, it looks a bit weird. Can we just do it this way? The conveyor belt has an invalid shape, does it? Doesn't look like it. There we go. It's a bit squiggly, but it's alright. Is it alright? I don't know. I feel like if I was... I guess it's not. Let's line it up so it is alright. Gotta have it symmetrical, otherwise what's the point? So, I mean, it kind of was with the foundation, but let's make it symmetrical with the actual thing. So that way it makes a bit more sense. So we can feed it in from the... there. Yeah. Alright, so now this will just go nicely up here. Nice and straight. Straight, straight, straight. Alright, same thing, but different. So let's just check it now and see how it looks. Are we happier with that? I think we're happier with that. I think everyone can agree that we're happier with this. I don't want to see anyone disagreeing with that, because that's the way it's going to be, okay? Now, we're splitting, so it's got to split along this way, and into that one. And this one will just go nice along the side, but to keep it even, we'll just do this, and then feed it in. Then we have to feed it in all the way through. So the splitters will split dynamically and evenly amongst everything, I think. I think that's how it works. Because this will get backed up, so it'll start feeding down. So yeah, so this should work. All of these are 15 per minute. And then these two, this line right here is 60 per minute. So that's getting carved up into 4 machines. So that should be even. There should be no wastage or spillage there. And they all have their thing. So what they need as well is power. Okay, all good. Power is lined up. Activate. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. Alright, cool. Nice, and that's all just from 2 smelters, so that's pretty good. These are all making rods now. Love to see it. Now, we'll figure out where they need to go in a moment, because I actually have no idea. But I know that we need to go up a floor already. Because obviously, these two, if they want to come out this way, we need to go up and over. So let's build a lookout tower up here. Alright, cool. And then let's start laying our walls. Our wall will let us rise up. So we need to go 3 floors high, I think. And just use the foundation to cross over. And how we're going to get up there? No idea. I mean, we could just jump from here, I guess, if we wanted to for a while. That could be fun. It's remarkably stable, despite having no foundation whatsoever. Okay, and we'll just add the wall to the other side. like I said, that's going to be clipping through there, but what can you do, man? What can you do? Other than just not look at it. So, that's good enough to me. It's getting dark now, so... So what we need to do is basically feed up a merged group of smelters. So these ones can be in the middle. I don't know if that will bother people now. That's not the same as the other side, but you just have to deal with it. Right, and then we'll get a conveyor lift that I think will just go straight up and aim it across. Now this thing always bothers me with how you can see it. I think about there is good. Alright. Unfortunately, until we get like proper rails and stuff, I'm just gonna have to climb this to jump upstairs. I mean, you could build a massive ramp, but it'll look ugly. I'd rather just climb the ladder. It's okay. So, here we are. So that was way too high. Well, at least we know. General rule of thumb, build this from the ground. That might make more sense. So let me just, if you hold Alt and scroll, you get a new page of tools at the bottom. So I'm going with this 1, 2, 3. Actually, I like that being 3. Make this 4. So there we go. Good. Boom. And there we go. The nice little mouth. Ready for, ready to pop out stuff. Now, I just realized something. Ah, it doesn't matter. Whatever. It's fine. Okay, so we've got 60 iron per minute coming in. And we need to divide that up and send it around. So, obviously, the first thing we'd like to do with this, or most likely anyway, is to shove it into 2 constructors that press it into plates. I mean, that's kind of what we had before. So let's do that. Now, we could bring it all the way out to the edge again. Or we could keep it more internal this time so it doesn't clip. I think that might look a bit better. We could fix the clipping with the other one a bit later. And we could start it here. So that can go into, I'm not sure actually, iron plates. What does that take? 30 per minute. Yeah, so we'll just divide this, we'll just split this right the way it came in. Okay, so that's just been, you know, there's no need for it to be merged and then split, but I've just, I don't know, kind of looks cool. So it means that we've only got 1 elevator, which I guess kind of makes sense. So yeah, anyway, it's getting split then into these 2, and that's going to be pressed into plates. Now the interesting thing is, what does that make us? 40 plates per minute, right? The 2 of these together. I'll have to see if that's enough for what we need, or do we need the other smelters to bring up even more iron? We could just bring up 1 of them, get another 20 added. But it all depends on what we need later down the line, so I'm not actually sure. But let's just extend our foundations further. Now, I wonder what happens. Can you climb down this? No. Alright, cool. But we still need power, of course, so let's get power back up and running. Did I build that too far forward or something? I kind of did. Yeah, maybe I'll do the power here then instead. Okay, sweet. Everything's looking good, I think. Until we get the wall outlets, we'll just have to use power poles. And eventually I can hide all these power poles later and attach it to the roof. And the wires will just run along the rooftop. It'll look a lot better. So to actually power this properly, we need to connect it to something like down here maybe. Okay, so they're working now. So just to check that I'm not going crazy with this, 30 iron per minute, that is what's coming up through the splitter. So that should be fine. We'll see these hit 100%, I have no doubt. And that's making us our iron plates. Nice. Alright, cool. Looking good. So basically, we've got 2 constructors up here working from 2 smelters. And we've got 4 constructors below us working from excuse me, 2 smelters as well, because they can be split at different rates. Now I'm just going to load this with manually with ore or iron ingots just to clear out my inventory. And that can just keep going. Unfortunately, we don't get lights for a while, so we'll just have to make do with the nighttime, the evening glow of the moon. And I guess orbiting planets. Because is that the sun? Or is it the moon? I guess it's kind of like a moon. Alright, what else? Are we missing anything else? So that's a pretty good job. I think we've done well. What else do we need to do? I guess we have to figure out what we need then. So that's basically back to where we were. Now we need to get stuff like an assembler, and we need to figure out how to make... oh, yeah, we're not making screws. So some of these have to turn into screws, right? These are rods. And we know that 15 rods per minute, and then we can make screws. Okay. Constructor. Let's get another constructor with a decent gap between them. Screws. So that takes in 10 rods per minute. And how much do we output? 15 per minute. So we could have 3 of these making screws if we wanted to. And merge 2 of this thing. So that way we get to keep 2 lots of rods. And 2 lots of rods here equals 30. And that's 30 there. Right? That makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So we've got a merger. And what is it? This is only going to be 30. So yeah, the belt can handle it just fine. So we could just merge them all. I guess split the first one actually. Yeah, split. I've never really done this before. I guess I'm merging and splitting on the same line. That's a bit strange. So that just goes into there, and then the excess comes out to here, which would need to be a merger. Yeah? That goes in there. I'm losing my mind now. 15, and we need it to go to a 10. Well, they all need a splitter and a merger then, don't they? Oh, I'm confused. I don't know why I'm so confused. I almost need to merge them all onto one belt and then feed them all in with splitters. That seems to be the thing that would make the most sense to me. So could I do that first? Would I have the room to do that, I wonder? I think so. Let me just see if this works. That does work. Okay then. This might work better then. It does seem a bit messier, but maybe not. Merger. So yeah, merge, merge, merge. So it's like a little bit of a sort of a conga line, right? This one goes into this merger. What have I done wrong? Have I done something wrong? Oh, its output's aiming the wrong way, sorry. I mean, to be honest, this doesn't even need to be there. We're just merging right into this one. Okay, so this, rods come out, they merge into this, they merge with this one. And then this goes into this merger. So everything's just being merged onto the same line, effectively, right now. Now we'll need to split it before it goes into there. So it's just a bit tight, but I think we can do it. So the output has to, yeah, has to go in that way. Oh my god, so messy. And there, I think. I'm so certain there's a better way of doing that, but let's see if it works. I think it's working. That's all that matters. Yeah, seems to be fine. There's just enough space to pull it off. Alright, so to explain it, I mean, I don't know, I think I did the worst job ever of explaining it and probably building it, but effectively, these 3 all make rods. The rods come out, they get merged in the orange one, onto one line, and then they get resplit. But this can't add up. This doesn't make any sense, darn. It's only supposed to be 2. That's what it is. I knew there's something weird. I was like, why would you split 3 machines into 3 machines? So that works, right? Yeah, so these 2 machines now feed these 3 machines, and that's fine. That's totally fine. So all I needed... all I needed was 1 merger. I'm so sorry. That's all I needed. 2 machines merged, and then split into 3. And this doesn't need to be a splitter. And the reason they're backed up, obviously, is because the machines aren't on. Alright, sorry about that. A lot cleaner, a lot more simple now, at least. So that's looking good. Okay, so we just have to extend the power. And turn on those machines. We're going to start feeling the power crunch soon, I think. Okay, and these are going to be screws. So 10 per minute. And we should be delivering 10 per minute to each one of these machines. So the goal is basically to see that all of our machines say 100% when they get powered and turn up. What's wrong with you? You're not getting any ingots. Oh, sorry, you're on the wrong recipe, that's why. There we go. Okay, God, that was painful. But anyway, we've gotten the... So let's just go over things. 3 miners in the back, 6 smelters, not all of them online right now. Smelting into 4 constructors, which are pressing them into rods. The rods then come out. 2 of the rods are going into being made into screws, and then 2 of the rods are free. So we got 2 free rods, and we have 2 free smelters, but we're still making a bunch of stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good about what we're making, and then obviously upstairs we're making the iron plates. Let's see if we can advance to the next thing now. And I'll have to also check power in a second. So let's go with the resource sink, or we can get logistics 2. I think I'll go with the resource sink. Although, to be honest, before we do this, I feel like we still need to actually get to the point where we get our assembler working. So let's maybe make a rotor, if we can. Oh yeah, I noticed that in between episodes that the hog protein we found is now here as a craftable item from the animal hog remains that we got. So I guess this is a new... I've never seen this before. To me it's new anyway, so it's like a new thing that you can do something with. It says it gives you full health, so... I'm assuming maybe it's used for something else. And then we can make the power shards from the blue power slugs that we find. Here's the rotors. So it takes rods and screws into rotors. So we can actually get the machine up and running already. But we need to make 4 of these. And then we can put down the assembler. So the good thing is, we have screws right here coming out. And we have rods right here. Now we can look at what the machine actually requires. So this is our assembler. And there we go, reinforced iron plates. So we need that. Perfect, right? So it takes plates and it takes screws. We have screws right here. And plates are right above. So when we get the hole in the floor thing, we can we can do it before the hole in the floor, but just send it up and then merge it in a new machine up there. So that's perfect. And then down here, we've got a machine that will make the rotors because it's right next to both as well. And then we'll have a free machine. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's just keep expanding the factory foundations. Yeah, so this one, I guess what I need to check, one other thing I could check is the reinforced plates. They need 30 per minute and 60 screws per minute. 60 screws per minute. We make 40 with this one, and then obviously 40 with this one. So we'll have some excess screws being sent up. That's okay, I think. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll have to send 2 elevators up then, and we'll do something with the other 20 screws that we have for free. We could send them back down, actually, and merge them into 60 again. Could work. Could work. Anyways, so yeah, and then what about iron plates? 30 per minute. So we make 20 per minute. on each machine that's up there. So we'll have a fall off again of 10. Okay. Can maybe just store it. Alright, anyway, a lot of numbers, but I think it's relatively straightforward what we need to do at this level. So let's just turn on our miners again and get all the power network running. So we'll just dump 100 ore into that, and we'll just dump ore into this one. And then we'll just turn on the mining. Alright, that's back online. We're powering back up. How's the network? Totally fine. As long as the blue line's below the grey, you can never have a problem. That's basically how it works. We could run over and check if we need to pop more fuel in, because it's probably going to happen soon. Let's just see how much is left in each one of these. 40? Oh, that's actually quite a lot. That's pretty good. I think I placed 80 in each one, and now we've got hundreds. So yeah, this is fine. And what are we making? We're turning biomass straight up into biofuel. So yeah, we can actually switch this to say just make biomass now instead of biofuel. And I'll just throw some leaves in there. That'll get made into biomass. Anyways, that's fine. We got loads. No problemo. Alright, back to the task at hand. So the basic task before the end of this episode is going to be to get the assemblers, 2 assemblers up and running. That's all. 2 assemblers up and running, 1 making plates, 1 making rotors. And then we're good to advance quite a bunch. And the rotors can then go into the awesome sink, and we'll get a lot out of that and be able to do a lot more with it. So that means we need 1 assembler down here for sure. And it needs to take in 2 things. So I'm just trying to think what the best way to lay this out is, because we've got two inputs here, obviously. Maybe turn it sideways. And we could obviously move it if we ever have to, but I think something... Well, let's get this to come out first. So this one is going to have to go about there. How much does this make per minute? 15 per minute. And this is obviously 15 per minute. So we can merge these. Why not? And then split them somewhere where they're not needed. Right, so the excess rods, the ones that haven't been using yet, are getting merged into this one area. They'll probably get split along the way here somewhere, but quote-unquote, for now, we can just basically line up a machine to take in both. So this assembler, I'm just going to place it sideways, just so I know that, I don't know, just so we can do more with it. We can always move it a bit later when I figure out how it's going to last, long term, I guess. So that's rods done into the assembler. Now, like I said, this is probably more than it needs. It needs 20 per minute. We're sending in 30, so we could always split, and the excess that are getting packed up will back off into something else. So we could just have a splitter right along here, and because we're on the grid, I think it just works. So yeah, just a splitter, I don't know, anywhere here is probably fine. Do we need to maybe make it a bit more grid-like? About there. And I guess just make a box, and for now with the box we can just load it up with the excess rods, so if we need them for anything we can use them. So that's the excess rods that are going into the box storage container. And then the proper rods are going into that one, or the rest of them. This is 40 per minute screw. And we needed 100 per minute screw to go into here. Ooh, I didn't realize that. 100 per minute. Well, we're not going to be able to do that. Basically, putting it simply. Let's see. Let's see if we can use this machine. So that was 15 per minute. And this needs 10 to make 40 screws. Alright. Well, let's test it all out. This is what it's all about. Figuring out how we can make use of everything without anything going to waste, really. So let's clear this area. I'm going to see if we can hook up one more machine, one more constructor, and then handle this fall off somewhere else. Damn, it seems so straightforward. And now it's just gotten a little bit more complicated straight away. So, another constructor. Aimed the right way. So what I want to do here, this is making 15. We only need 10 to go in there though. So I need this to come along this way and split and then go into a merger. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know why I keep opening that menu. We have it all down here. So splitter. Splitter will send hopefully the correct amount into the thing to the left. And then this will be a merger. Okay. Oh no. Ugh. Alright, so out you go. Look at that, perfect. Don't worry about it. Totally perfect. You see nothing, I see nothing. It's perfect. I would build it that way in real life. Perfect use of space right there. So that's going into that. This needs to then go into this. That needs to go into this. Alright, and we are merged. So the excess is coming out of here then. So just leave that there for now so we can see that. Okay? Totally makes sense. So basically that should be receiving its 10 per minute to make the extra screws now. So now we're making 4, 8, 12, 16, 160 screws per minute from all these rods. Of course this one needs to be powered. Sure. Okay, so we needed 100 for the assembler. This is why we were doing this. I'll just stick it here. We can move it in a moment if we need to. So that's 40 and 40. That's 80. And then we needed... Yeah, so interestingly, the amount that has to go up to make the reinforced plates... I think this all works out. I'm struggling to speak because I try to hold it in my head while I'm talking. 60 screws per minute. Okay, 60 screws per minute. So that's 40. Yeah, that's 40. So these two need to go up to the 60. And then the 20 can come back down and merge with this 40 and this 40 and go into 100. It makes sense, I promise. The only way I think to do that is by sending it up. Well, we could merge it, but actually split it before we send it up. So we could do that. Or split it up and bring it down. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Alright, cool. So we're almost done. Believe it or not. So yeah, this machine will probably move a bit later. So we'll just keep it somewhere relatively nice so that we can have a nice space around it to do different things. Let's just do that. This is the chain that's going to take the rods. Now, I might have messed up the rods, so I'm not going to change that though. If that's the way it is, that's the way it is. So what does this need? It needed 20 per minute. That actually might be basically right, because we get 15 per minute here. This takes 10, and this leaves us, that leaves us with 5. So this is an X, yeah, it's perfect. Perfect. 20 is going straight into here, if my math is correct, which I don't doubt it is. So 20 in here, and then we need 100 to come in. So for that 100, the 100 thing is difficult though, because we actually need, the only way we can deliver 100 of anything is by having an improved Mark II logistics. So we have to get that. And we can pretty much do that if we just made reinforced iron plates. So, I always said, we have to walk before we can run. So we need to get back upstairs and deliver the different things so we can actually make reinforced plates automatically, so we're not crafting them and waiting around. So let's do this. Alright, we're up. These are the plates. Plates are totally fine. These are the screws. And we can color these buildings differently so we can always tell if we wanted to, or we could just remember. So that's 40 screws coming up. And this is 40 screws coming up. But remember, we only needed 60. And then we need to merge it with the plates into an assembler. So I might get rid of that assembler and just use that one real quick, because we only have 4 rotors right now. So let's just use it up here. Alright, in go the plates. Plates, how much plates do we have? We had 20. And what did this need again? 30. So we'll merge them. I think that works. Alright, plates are being merged. This does leave us with an excess of 10. So if you really wanted to, you could split somewhere here, right? Or you could split maybe there. Actually, yeah. Sorry to undo this thing, but again, just don't want any wastage. That's the whole point. If we're going to do this game properly, and I think in a Let's Play we should merge these two first onto the same belt, and then we can split it if we need to. And to be honest, it actually probably looks nicer this way anyway. So we can split it somewhere here. Alright, bit of that again. So, there we go. So that's 10. That's the excess 10 that falls off and doesn't really go anywhere. And we could collect it, I suppose. That's the other good thing. Because you always need plates for milestones and things. And then the screws are going in this way. So, the screws, we can change how the elevator brings that stuff up. And it needs to be merged. But it also needs to be split. It's real flippin' messy. So I'm trying to think like, okay, we could bring that up. We could obviously turn it. Or we could turn it out that way. And just rotate them in. That might work best, actually. Because it needs to go back down. Is that the right thing to do? Or we can we merge it onto one elevator? I guess with Mark II logistics we could. Yeah, that makes more sense. So we'll split it before it goes up. Because it can only handle 60 and we only need to send up 60. If I'm not totally mistaken. And that leaves us with 100 on the bottom, which will have a Mark II logistics belt to take it. 60. I just wanted to double check. Sorry, had to make sure. Right, so 40 comes out of here, 40 comes out of there. We'll merge them. Yeah, and then we'll need a level 2 logistics thing. So we'll have to do that upgrade later. So for a while it's going to be running slow, but that's okay. Just for a little while. Okay. And then this will be a lift. I'd have to change that lift actually just real quick. I'm kind of messing it up a bit. I mean, almost everything's almost running perfectly, but just with the rate at which a belt can hold 60, it's just kind of tripping me up a little bit. But it's okay. I think it'll just be fine. Once we get the level 2 logistics anyway, soon, it'll be the next milestone. That should be fine. So I guess just, let's say temporarily, we'll just feed that straight in. And that should be as good as it gets for a while. And then when we get the level 2 thing, I can reorder it a little bit better. Just because we're getting to the end here. So I want to wrap it up. and just get these two assembler things running. So just hook that up with power right now. Lazily throw power down here. And just make sure it's all hooked up. Alright, so that should get that building going. And that's going to start making reinforced plates. So when we make 50, we'll get to the next thing. So it just has to load it all up. 30 per minute, that's totally fine. We've done that correctly. We have an excess now of... Let's just make a storage box for that. So it's still operational. I guess we could have soft clipped it in because it doesn't quite fit right, but it's fine. It's just to go into storage anyway, so it's okay. Alright, hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know I get a little bogged down with certain things, but let's just zoom back and have a look at what's going on. So, another reiteration. We have 3 miners over there, fed into 4 smelters which are active. One of those miners isn't active, 2 of the smelters aren't active. So, just with this area here, with 4 smelters, all the ingots we get out of that, 2 of them come up here and get refined into plates. The plates get merged onto one belt and then go into this machine, but a little bit of extra just gets split off. A little bit of extra. Alright. On the bottom, we of course then have a very complicated, nasty looking situation going on. But we can have a brief look at it here. Just climb up maybe this one. So, on the bottom, the extra ingots come into 4 constructors, pressing them all into rods. The rods then go into various different things, right? The rods go into constructors making screws, of which we have 4. And then 2 of the rods go into, one of them goes into screws, and one of them is going to go into where we make rotors. So that's basically it. You know, upstairs then we of course have the elevator taking the screws up to the plates, and that's being pressed into reinforced plates, the 2 together. But actually, I think I'm pretty happy with it because, I mean, it could look a little nicer, just a little bit. But broadly speaking, the production line is quite good. As good as we can make it until we get our Mark II belt. So there's no wastage, and all the wastage that we do have, we store. So that's pretty good. And we're just making these reinforced plates. So we need 50 of those to continue on. So let's take a little break. Let's activate our next milestone. We'll revisit this area then when we have the Mark II logistics. Let's see what we need. So let's add everything that we can into here. So we're just short for plates, we're short for concrete, and yeah, okay, let's just go on a collection run. And then we can have a look. Maybe I'll just go grab some fuel, and we can have a look at our map and see where things are. There's actually an interesting thing out in the distance that I saw that I think you can actually climb. So that might be kind of fun to check out. So for concrete, I think we can just grab here. Perfect, loads in there. We'll get this machine running a bit better as well. Oh no, there goes the power. We have to deal with power then now. The entire power network is just tripped. We just ran out of fuel. Okay. We can run with our hood off. It's coming together though. It is coming together. I look forward to cleaning up a lot of these wires later. Alright, what's the problem? You ran out of fuel. I don't know why one of them ran out of fuel. I thought you gave you all the same amount. Well, let's just pick all this fuel back up then. Okay. And it should be all in here. So let's just sort that. Let's add that in. So unfortunately in this game you can't just like specify an amount. Like I can't take one off of this, but you can half things. So I always want to build, if you're building power, it's good to always build it in even numbers. Because then you can just go like this, this, and this. And now I can just take 50, 50, 50, and 50 and put it into each one, you know? And we could do that again, obviously. So what is it? 150 each, I guess, we get to give it. I mean, that was the slowest way ever of doing it, but it keeps it even. Otherwise, you're sub-splitting it, I guess. So 150 can go into each one, and then we'll power them back on. And that just means that, like, it's not going to run out early, because one of them went offline. And there we go, we're back online. Sweet. Now we're going to have to go around and get some more grass and things to make our biofuel. Biomass. But it is what it is. So let's just head out to the... Let's see, we can check our map. Northeast. Yeah, so I ran up to this area before. I think it's going to be interesting because we can actually get a lot of wood up there anyway. So let's just check that area out. Oh, I actually can't grab grass while we have the UI off. Oh, that's a shame. A little copper area which we set up really early on, doing its thing. It periodically turns off because it just can't make enough. Or it's making too much, rather. Yeah, so that thing. I want to get that thing. Now, I've never done this before, but when I was collecting wood, I accidentally climbed. And it looks like you could just climb right up there. Yeah, because there was wood on the ground here, and I was like, yeah, grab. And I was trying to grab this, and I was like, oh, you can't. And then I found out you can actually climb it.
Harvest.
Oh, it's like a little climbing puzzle. Oh my god. I did it!
Picking up multiple fix-it personnel in the area. Proceed with harvest before it's too late.
So these things are work in progress. That's what whip means.
Comply.
And they kind of speak to you, so you want to get rid of them. But at the moment I don't think they're used for anything. I'm just going to collect all this wood. Prevent my climbing down. Can I still climb? Yeah, I can. That's good. It seems like you can climb even when you grab it. There's just loose bits that you can take. So yeah, part of the last episode I didn't really notice is when we handed in the alien creature remains into the mom, it actually gave us the ability to make biomass from dead animals. And I believe you get a lot. Like, you get a lot from them. So it can be totally worth doing. You know, farming them to an extent, going out, killing a few, and then coming back. Alright, that should be enough. Wood is actually worth way more biomass than grass, and we have 108 of it. So we can just run back now. Music is nice. And then as we're approaching different places and points of interest, we can always then like leave little markers on the map and stuff about what we've seen, where we are, where we want to go back to. Like, there's a lake here, so that's actually pretty good. We can just use water pretty early on, which should be in the next milestone, or the next tier. So, instead of crafting this ourselves... Oh, we could craft it ourselves. It actually didn't take that long. Wood is pretty quick. Yeah, we'll just make this ourselves. I could throw it in the machine, but we'll just make it ourselves, and then we just throw the biomass in, and that'll get turned into biofuel. Just actually, while I'm doing that, let's just tell this to go in there. Okay. Alright, sweet. Give me that. Just pop it in there manually. And now I can tell this to go in here. And once this machine is done making leaves, we'll switch its recipe to make biofuel instead. So I'll come back over here in a minute. Alright, we can check on our stuff now. So we'll have to go upstairs to grab the rest of the plates and get the reinforced plates. And that should be it. We should have enough concrete in our bag right now that we're totally fine. Ugh. Alright, there we go. 24. We're pretty close. Got 24 in total. We just need about 10 more, I think. And let's see how many excess plates we've made. Holy crap, there's loads. That was pretty quick. For just a fall off of 10. Well, I guess, see, this machine surprisingly is at full capacity. I don't even know how that's possible. Oh, because 60 per minute. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's the rotors that need the one for 100. So this actually, a belt is actually running at optimal speed. But it's backed up because we're sending 80 into a belt that can only take 60. So the machine just gets kind of backed up. That's good to know. 3 more. So yeah, that'll be ready in just a moment. We'll just head back up here in a second. Let's just feed the machine. And then we'll have to, I guess, call it there for this one. So yep, just more of these. What do we need? We only needed 4 more. Alright, we're pretty good. And that'll be Logistics Mark II, and that allows us to set up our assembler with a better high-speed belt That takes twice as many resources. And you could like upgrade all your belts if you wanted to, but there's no point. If you're at your max capacity, just leave it the way it is. It's not going to go any faster. It'll just slow. Like the output, you're always matched by the output, so it doesn't really matter. Or limited by the output, I should say. Alright, that's it. 4. Activate. Boom. And that's Logistics Mark II. Now, if we want to make the belt, let's just do that as quickly as possible.
And conveyor lifts are now accessible. To encourage additional verticality, conveyor poles now have a stackable variant.
Alright, so we've just gotten also stackable conveyor poles, which are quite nice. So yeah, this thing. So basically you just put one of these down and they just stack, and stack up on top of each other. Then we've got belt 2. So these actually cost reinforced plates to make. So we'll have to wait for them to be made just a little bit. But in the meantime, we should be able to get our assembler, our second assembler up and running. We need 8 plates for that. Okay, we need 8 plates and cables. So I'm just going to go fetch some cable. And also just pick up a bunch of these rods that we're in need of. This is where we have our cable. It's great, isn't it? We just run up to these things and just grab what we need now. Feels good, man. It's not the nicest looking place, but it'll look good soon. I promise. Alright, the assembler. So just 8 reinforced plates. And perfect. 8 plates. We actually need a little bit more. So while we're waiting on that, does this machine have what it needs? Pretty much. I'll just load it with screws while we take the screws offline here. It'll make this look a bit nicer. So this is where I'm struggling, right? It's like they need to be the improved belts. Yeah, they need to be the improved belts. And they're going to merge into a line. They'll need to merge into a line. And then part of that line needs to break off and join here. And then the other part needs to come up. That's basically what needs to happen. Let's get rid of this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and we'll improve them in just a second. So that'll be, you know, that's going to be 80 going into there. And then we basically need 20 to come off of it. But the best way to do that, I think, is just to split it and send 60 up. And that way it's always going to be limited by 60. So let's get rid of this. So this needs to be a merger as well. So right now what this does is it literally just merges them all. So 4, 8, 12, 16. That's more than any belt I have that will be able to ever manage. So somewhere here we need to send the 60 up. And I think we could just do that right here, can't we? If I make a split right in between. Nasty split, but it has to be done. Is that what I want to do? Split? Why am I getting confused with the... Yeah, that's the way it goes. Good. Alright, so that splits right in. And then this is going to go straight up. Just like that. I think that should be working. Let me just test it. Just pull this out a bit. Are they hooked up? I think they're hooked up. I don't know. Maybe not actually, because that's not going up right now. So yeah, it must not be hooked up yet. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Just do it like this. Okay, now it's rising. There we go. And this is where the floor, like the hole in the floor thing would come in quite nicely. That'll have to do. So that's basically sending 60 in. Perfect, right? And then we have 100 coming off, which is going to go into this final assembler, which needs 100, and that's it done. So yeah, that power was kind of temporary. Let's just get rid of that as well. There we go. And it's done. Basically, this is now rotors, and it should be at 100% once we get the proper belt on it. But that's basically it. Let's just add that lookout tower again, just so we can climb up there and fix the last bit. And then we just need to power it. So that's powered on here. So we'll just send this over here. Send it there. Might clean up the power in between episodes just a tiny bit. But this should get us all working. There we go, we're powered again. And this is powered as well now, right? Yep, it just needs to load up with screws, but it's loading up so slow because we don't have the right belt. But this is the time for our special belt that can go twice as fast. So we can just upgrade it. Just like that. That doesn't need to be a special belt, but this one does. This little cheeky one in there. So that's fine, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. Ah, what's happened? I have to check power. Maybe having this building on was just a little bit too much power for it. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's okay. We can just turn on another, this is why we future-proofed the power area. We could just power this on. Throw in some biofuels. How much has this one got? It's got 113 in it. 114. Okay, yeah. 94. That's good enough for me. Toss it in there. Power it on. Boom. We're good. We're golden. Alright, so that's still doing its thing. This is making biomass. Yeah, we have to switch this now to biofuel. We're making biofuel again. Perfect. Alright, great. That's basically it. Maybe just make it to look a little bit nicer. We could put a wall on this side too, just so it looks like it has some sort of structure. It's been propped up, at least in that area. Okay, so now we're making rotors. I want to see this number go up to 100% by the end of the next episode. That's where it should be. Because that's what I've been aiming for. And look at that, we're flying in. No slowdown, nothing being backed up. I mean, that's being backed up. Should that be backed up? That might not need to be backed up. That already is Mark II. That's okay then. And then 60 are going up there. Great. I hope this was enjoyable for people. I really enjoyed it, but I feel like it could be a little tedious, you know, working things out in a video, but that is the game. So I'll be really eager to hear what people have to say about it. I actually haven't read any of the feedback yet. I'll be reading it after this episode about the first 3 and see how they're all going. So who knows? But I'm having a blast. I'm glad that I was able to get it done properly. And we're saving off a little bit of excess. We still have 2 smelters that we can do more with. And it looks like the next few milestones should be easily attainable, really. So that's pretty good. Pretty happy. I think that's going to be it for this episode. So in this one, we basically got our reinforced plates up and running automatically. And we got rotors automatically being produced. I've never actually really looked at the building, but these buildings are really cool. You can see, like, obviously we're feeding 2 things in here. Gets picked up, rotated around. Much more complex machine. It's like they're making cars or something with the robot arms. And then obviously what we'd want to do is save this into a storage box or something, but it's okay for now. We'll just pick them up. So the next milestone is going to be resource sync program, which I've almost got everything for. We'll activate it at the beginning of the next one, then have a look at the awesome sync and all of that. And then we can get the jump pads and jelly landing so we can hop around a bit. Alright, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm loving the game. Can't wait to be back to play more, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support the channel directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. You'll also get exclusive access to my Discord, where there's dedicated channels for each series I'm doing, and it's a great place just to meet others and make some friends.